You ever meet a woman who feels like a dream and a mystery at the same time? She's magnetic, confident. Every word, every glance feels perfectly timed, like she knows exactly how to pull you in. And yet, something in your gut whispers, "Careful, it's not paranoia. It's instinct." Because some women carry stories they'll never say out loud. Stories written in body language, habits, emotional reactions. The quiet details most men never notice until it's too late. See, every woman has a past, but not every past is harmless. Some leave scars so deep they turn connection into control, affection into leverage, and intimacy into a performance. If you ignore the early patterns, you'll end up questioning yourself instead of her. You'll think you're the problem. You'll chase harder, apologize faster, and shrink smaller just to keep her interested, without realizing she was never interested in peace, only in power. I'm going to show you the hidden signs most men miss, the subtle clues that tell you when a woman's connection is built on experience, not emotion. And the fourth one? It's the most dangerous manipulation I've ever seen, because it doesn't just fool your mind. It rewires your desire. Before we go further, understand this. Recognizing these signs isn't about judging women, it's about protecting yourself. Because your energy, your focus, and your emotional clarity are sacred, and if you give them to the wrong person, she won't just break your heart, she'll reshape the way you see love itself. Stay sharp, because in a moment, you'll see exactly what separates the woman who values connection from the one who's mastered pretending to. Here are the signs you can't afford to miss. Number 1. Her comfort with intimacy is immediate and effortless. This is a critical red flag, and it's one that countless men misinterpret. You might think, wow, she's so confident, so open, so liberated. Finally, a woman who knows what she wants. But what if that openness isn't a sign of genuine trust in you or a deep connection forming, but rather a reflection of a deeply ingrained routine from her past? Consider this fundamental truth. Authentic intimacy, the kind that truly binds two people together and forms a lasting bond, isn't something that can be manufactured instantly. It builds organically, layer upon layer, woven with threads of shared vulnerability, whispered secrets, and a steadily growing emotional investment. It's not a simple switch that can be flipped on command. When a woman exhibits an immediate and profound comfort discussing or engaging in deep intimacy, often without any hesitation or visible vulnerability, it frequently signals that those essential emotional boundaries have been significantly eroded over time. It's not necessarily that she's extraordinarily confident. It's more likely that the inherent sacredness and specialness of intimacy have been stripped away through repeated, often superficial encounters. The deep meaning is lost, and what you're experiencing is less a raw, authentic connection and more a well-practiced performance. She might casually brush your arm or knee, lean in just a little too close, or make a suggestive comment with an almost unsettling lack of shyness or embarrassment. This isn't necessarily undeniable chemistry. It's often a form of emotional muscle memory. The real danger is that you'll mistake her lack of modesty or hesitation for a profound, instant connection, convincing yourself that you share an extraordinary spark, that it's fate. But the harsh truth is she's likely just reenacting a script she's played countless times before, and you, my friend, are merely the latest co-star. The dialogue feels familiar to her because it is familiar. The rhythm, the timing, the way she touches you, it's all rehearsed. And here's what's truly brutal. When intimacy loses its emotional weight, when it becomes transactional or routine, it's almost impossible to restore its original magic and depth. You simply cannot recreate the unique, exhilarating magic of firsts with someone who has made that moment a routine. You'll notice an absence of genuine buildup, a lack of palpable emotional tension, and no real sense of rarity or preciousness in your connection. The bond you mistakenly believe you're forming will be far weaker than you realize, precisely because the vital glue of emotional exclusivity is missing. So here is my urgent warning: never confuse instant comfort with genuine connection. Just because she's willing to cross intimate lines early doesn't mean she's truly choosing you for a deep, exclusive bond. It might simply mean that for her, that line, that boundary no longer exists. And if that's the case, you are walking into a relationship where the most profound and important bond, the one that should grow from true intimacy, is already broken or never existed. Before you even truly begin. Number 2, she maintains a permanent emotional wall. This particular sign is incredibly subtle and dangerously deceptive. capable of fooling even the most emotionally intelligent men. She will effortlessly charm you, laugh heartily at your jokes, engage in witty and playful banter, and readily share stories from her life that seem deeply personal. Funny anecdotes, captivating experiences, perhaps even a few moments of carefully selected vulnerability. But here is the stark truth. You are not getting the authentic her. You are being presented with a meticulously crafted performance, a carefully managed persona. This isn't about setting healthy boundaries, which are crucial for any new relationship as you get to know each other. This is fundamentally different. This is a formidable defense mechanism, a towering fortress built brick by painstaking brick over years of deeply connecting, only to suffer profound loss or disappointment, and subsequently deciding, never again will I allow myself to be that vulnerable. Every man who came before you, through betrayal, abandonment, or simply painful breakups, has inadvertently contributed to the construction of those emotional bricks. Now she is a fortress impenetrable at its core. You'll begin to notice this when conversations persistently hover on the surface. Try asking her about her deepest fears, her most formative childhood experiences, the pivotal moments that truly shaped her core being. She will deftly pivot. Perhaps she'll deploy a disarming joke or offer a vague, generalized cliché. She might subtly, almost imperceptibly change the subject so smoothly that you barely register the shift. But deep down in your gut, you will feel it. She is holding something profoundly back. Here's where it becomes particularly dangerous for you. A man who is earnestly seeking a deep, authentic connection will instinctively share vulnerable parts of himself first, hoping to inspire her to reciprocate. You'll open up about your struggles, your soaring ambitions, your past heartbreaks, and she will respond warmly, perhaps even in a way that makes you believe she truly understands. However, her response will critically lack matching depth. She is merely reacting, not genuinely reciprocating. Over time, this creates a profound and draining imbalance. You are giving more than you are receiving, investing emotionally into a relationship that is fundamentally capped from the very beginning. And when inevitable conflict arises, as it always does in real relationships, her wall becomes absolutely impenetrable. Instead of actively working through the problem, she might completely shut down, disappear for a while, or abruptly decide the relationship just isn't working. This isn't because she's confused. It's because she has learned through painful experience that retreating behind her emotional wall feels infinitely safer than risking true, exposing intimacy. So pay very close attention. If weeks turn into months and you find yourselves endlessly circling the same surface-level conversations, if you still feel that invisible, unbridgeable gap between you, no matter how physically intimate you become, it's not in your head, it's the wall. And loving someone who perpetually hides behind such a barrier will slowly, quietly, and completely drain you until you awaken one day to the stark realization that you've been profoundly alone the entire time. Number 3. Her social circle is overwhelmingly male. This is a classic red flag, often dismissed with the tired cliché, "Oh, they're just friends." And yes, sometimes that truly is the case. But when a woman's social circle is disproportionately, almost exclusively male, when her phone consistently buzzes with messages from a constant rotation of guys you've never met, when she somehow manages to weave a story about a different male friend into every single topic of conversation you bring up, you are witnessing a clear pattern, not a mere coincidence. Here's what you absolutely need to understand. Women who deliberately and consistently keep multiple men in their orbit are not simply naturally friendly. In a significant number of cases, this behavior functions as a powerful validation loop. It's about ensuring a continuous, unwavering stream of male attention flows into her life, regardless of her current relationship status. It's a quiet yet potent constant hit of, "I'm wanted, I'm attractive, I'm relevant," and this feeling is profoundly addictive. Watch meticulously for these specific signs. She maintains active contact with multiple ex-boyfriends, plural. She boasts male best friends who have, at some point, made it unequivocally clear they would pursue things further if given the slightest opportunity. When you cautiously inquire about these men, she dismisses your concerns with a breezy, "Oh, he's harmless," or "We've known each other forever." But here's the unvarnished truth. Genuinely harmless male friends don't typically send midnight texts. Genuinely harmless male friends don't conveniently call or show up when you're out of town, or when there's a discernible crack in your relationship. Another powerful tell, her female friendships are minimal, often strained or virtually non-existent. Why? Because cultivating and maintaining close, authentic friendships with other women requires significant emotional reciprocity, depth, and vulnerability. These qualities are far more challenging to maintain when a person has trained herself to seek validation in quick, superficial hits of attention from men. Male friends rarely demand profound emotional vulnerability. Instead, they often provide easy attention and, more often than not, flirtation. And then there's the unspoken psychological backup plan. You might genuinely believe she is loyal, and perhaps she even believes she is. But deep within her subconscious, she is meticulously keeping multiple doors open. If your relationship falters, ends, or even hits a significantly rocky patch, those friends can, and often do, become immediate romantic replacements within a matter of days or weeks. She doesn't have to start from scratch. She simply promotes someone from her existing roster. Here's the hard, undeniable truth. A woman who is perpetually plugged into a sprawling network of male attention is not truly available, neither emotionally nor mentally. And no matter how vehemently she insists, they're just friends, you will always feel the quiet, unsettling pull of competition. That is simply not a foundation for genuine trust or a healthy, exclusive bond. It's a perpetual battle for her attention, a battle you'll likely never fully win. Number 4. She uses intimacy as currency. This is, without a doubt, the most dangerous manipulation tactic, not merely because it's deeply manipulative, but because it's so incredibly subtle and easy to miss until you are already profoundly hooked and emotionally invested. You might genuinely believe you are sharing precious, authentic moments of closeness, vulnerability, and connection, but what you are actually engaged in is a meticulously orchestrated transaction. She isn't giving intimacy, she is trading it. Here's precisely how this insidious dynamic plays out. Imagine things are tense between you two. Perhaps you've had a significant disagreement. You've declined a request she made, or maybe she's been caught in a lie. Suddenly, her entire demeanor shifts. Her body language becomes softer, more yielding, even overtly affectionate. She might become physically seductive, drawing you in closer. And just like that, the underlying tension magically dissolves. You feel a renewed sense of closeness, and you think to yourself, problem solved, right? Absolutely wrong. The fundamental problem didn't vanish. It was merely paid off with the currency of intimacy. On the flip side, observe what happens when she's upset, feeling neglected, or deliberately wants to make a point. Intimacy is the very first thing she withholds. This isn't because she's genuinely not in the mood. It's because she knows with chilling precision that this withdrawal will elicit a powerful reaction from you. It's a form of punishment, expertly disguised as setting healthy boundaries. She has learned, through repeated interactions and experiences, that your deep-seated desire for closeness can be leveraged as a potent tool to get what she wants. Whether that's an apology, a favor, your unquestioning silence, or simply her own way. This is not natural feminine intuition or a spontaneous emotional response. This is a learned, calculated strategy. Women who have spent years navigating short, high-turnover relationships often become masters at identifying which emotional tools work fastest and most effectively to regain a sense of control or achieve a desired outcome. And physical intimacy, when ruthlessly weaponized, is one of the most powerful tools in her arsenal. It serves as the ultimate bargaining chip because it taps directly into your core biology, your deepest emotions, and your fragile ego, all at once. The key word here, the one you must engrave into your awareness, is timing. Pay meticulous attention to when the affection flows and when it abruptly dries up. Is her affection spontaneous, genuinely arising from a moment of connection, or does it always, suspiciously, arrive precisely after you've done something she wanted, or just as tension begins to mount? Does it vanish exactly when she's displeased, when you've pushed back, or when she feels her control slipping? If the timing feels too precise, too perfectly orchestrated to be a mere coincidence, then it most likely isn't. Because make no mistake, when intimacy becomes currency, the sacred bond of love transforms into a cold, hard business transaction. And in that kind of business, you are never truly an equal partner. You are simply a customer, perpetually paying without even realizing the true cost. Number 5. She has mastered the art of reading and controlling men. There is a profound yet often overlooked difference between a woman who possesses a natural understanding of men and one who meticulously studies them. The first is an organic trait. She is observant, genuinely empathetic, and intuitively grasps nuances. The second is a deliberate, cultivated skill. She has been in enough relationships with enough diverse types of men that she has, in essence, conducted her own private laboratory experiments on male behavior, and now she knows with chilling precision exactly which buttons to press and precisely when to press them to elicit a desired response. At first, this feels absolutely amazing. She will deliver compliments that land with pinpoint accuracy, hitting exactly where your ego is most vulnerable and desirous of validation. She will notice the minute details about you that you secretly wish more people recognized. The way you carry yourself, your quiet ambition, how you subtly take charge in a situation. You will feel understood in a way that is profoundly rare and deeply intoxicating. But here is precisely where you must exercise extreme caution. Genuine, deep understanding between two people grows organically over time, through shared experiences and mutual vulnerability. Instant, perfect compatibility is often nothing more than a carefully constructed reflection of how quickly and thoroughly she has read you. She can quickly identify your strengths and, more importantly, your deepest insecurities faster than you could possibly imagine. And once she possesses that detailed emotional map of your psyche, she can play you like a finely tuned, expensive instrument. When she desires to pull you closer, she will expertly feed your pride, making you feel like the most magnificent man on earth. When she wants to subtly destabilize you and throw you off balance, she will gently, yet effectively, poke at the cracks in your confidence. One minute you feel like her undisputed hero. The next you're questioning your very worth, craving her reassurance and validation. The insidious danger here is that this manipulation is incredibly subtle, almost imperceptible. She isn't storming into your life with overt demands or obvious control tactics. Instead, she is delicately yet powerfully shaping your emotional state in ways that consistently keep her in control, keep you on the hook. She knows precisely when to be sweet and alluring, when to be distant and aloof, when to lavish praise, and crucially, when to let silence do the heavy emotional lifting. Every single move is calculated, meticulously designed to keep you emotionally invested, yet simultaneously perpetually unsure of where you stand. The scariest part of this dynamic is that men often, tragically, mistake this for intense passion. They confuse emotional volatility, the dramatic highs and lows, with a profound, deep connection. The highs feel utterly intoxicating, like nothing you've ever experienced. The lows, conversely, make you chase harder, work harder, desperate to restore that initial feeling. And before you even realize what's happening, you're addicted to the destructive cycle itself. That, my friend, is not love. It is pure conditioning. If you begin to feel like every emotion within your relationship is being expertly managed, like you're constantly reacting to her subtle cues, it's because it absolutely is. And once you clearly see those invisible strings, once you understand the puppetry at play, you cannot unsee them. That is the moment you face a critical choice. Continue to dance for her approval, perpetually caught in her emotional web, or walk away and powerfully reclaim the control and agency she has been expertly holding over you all along. Number 6. She has no shame or discretion about her past. Let's be absolutely clear. This isn't about policing someone's history, nor is it about expecting an unrealistic standard of perfection. We are talking about the natural, inherent sense of privacy and selectivity that acts as a vital guardian of true emotional intimacy. When that essential quality is conspicuously absent, it speaks volumes about how she fundamentally views connection and, by extension, how she might eventually view you. A woman who exhibits no shame or discretion about her past doesn't just mention her exes in passing. She recounts vivid, often highly detailed stories about past intimate experiences with a striking casualness, as if she's merely describing a mundane weekend trip. She might openly and flippantly discuss the precise number of people she's been physically with, or provide graphic details about former relationships, almost as if she's deliberately trying to prove her experience or her worldliness. And here's the most unsettling part. She genuinely perceives this openness as a positive selling point, something that makes her more appealing or modern. You'll notice a complete absence of hesitation in her delivery, no softening of the language, no subtle indications that certain topics might be too personal or sacred to broadcast widely. That's because to her they genuinely aren't personal anymore. These intimate experiences have been so thoroughly normalized through repetition that they've lost their specialness. When something deeply intimate has occurred enough times, it ceases to feel rare, unique, or special. And when it's no longer rare, it's certainly no longer sacred. Ask her a direct question about her past, especially one that delves into vulnerability, and observe her reaction closely. If she becomes immediately defensive, angrily flips the question back onto you, or quickly accuses you of being insecure, judgmental, or old-fashioned, that's not merely deflection. It's a profound unwillingness to acknowledge how her past experiences might legitimately affect the present dynamics of your budding relationship. She's not engaging with the potential impact. She's only interested in winning the argument or shutting down your inquiry. This profound lack of discretion can, and very often does, bleed directly into how she handles your relationship. The same casual way she shares intimate details about her past, she might just as casually share intimate details about you and your relationship with others. The crucial boundary between private and public information becomes dangerously thin, almost non-existent. And once that fundamental line is consistently crossed, the foundation of trust, which is painstakingly built over time, becomes fragile, easily shattered. So pay meticulous attention to how she speaks about her history. Is there a palpable sense of care, respect, or even a touch of reverence in how she discusses her intimate experiences? Or is it just another story in a long, endless lineup, delivered without any apparent emotional weight? Does she genuinely respect the profound weight of the connection you are attempting to build with her? Or does it feel like you are simply the next interchangeable chapter in a long, casual series of relationships? Because if she cannot or will not understand why discretion, privacy, and reverence for intimacy matter, then she will fundamentally fail to see why you truly matter, at least not in the deep, exclusive, and lasting way you inherently need and deserve her to. Number 7. She has a history of consistently short-term relationships. At first glance, this particular sign might seem utterly harmless, even common. After all, people date, things don't work out, and they move on. That's just life, right? Sure, to an extent. But when you start to observe a consistent, undeniable pattern, relationships that rarely, if ever, last more than a few months, connections that burn incredibly bright and then vanish as quickly as they appeared, that, my friend, is not merely a string of bad luck. That is a clear, repeatable blueprint of her relational style. In these pervasive cases, nearly every relationship she's had follows the exact same predictable arc. An intense, often whirlwind initial attraction, a rapid and dramatic escalation of intimacy and commitment, and then an equally rapid and often abrupt collapse. She will typically describe the endings of these relationships as mutual decisions, or simply, it just wasn't meant to be. But if you look closer, if you listen carefully, her stories almost invariably center on external factors. Bad timing, unfortunate circumstances, the other person's flaws or their lack of readiness. What is conspicuously absent from her narrative is any genuine introspection or acknowledgement of her own inability to build and sustain something that truly lasts. Why is this distinction so critically important? Because real, enduring long-term commitment isn't built during the exhilarating honeymoon phase. It is painstakingly forged in the challenging work that comes after the initial passion settles. It's when conflicts inevitably arise, when the intoxicating novelty begins to fade, when you are both forced to navigate difficult differences, uncomfortable compromises, and sustained emotional effort. That is where true depth is formed, where character is revealed and where bonds solidify. But if she has consistently never stayed long enough in a relationship to experience that crucial stage, she has, by definition, never developed the essential tools, resilience, and emotional maturity required to handle it. This pervasive pattern also points to something far deeper, a profound craving for the intense high of new attraction. It's the addictive rush of butterflies, the constant texting, the exhilarating feeling of being perpetually desired and pursued. This feeling is undeniably addictive, and just like any addiction, once the initial buzz wears off, once the relationship settles into a more stable, comfortable rhythm, she subconsciously or even consciously starts looking for her next fix. The fundamental problem is that lasting, fulfilling relationships demand stability, consistency, and a willingness to ride out the inevitable storms. And stability, by its very nature, doesn't provide the same intoxicating rush as novelty. So what then should you do? Pay meticulous attention to her stated relationship history, but more importantly, scrutinize the patterns within that history, not just her curated stories about it. Ask probing questions. Listen intently for consistency or the lack thereof. If she has never, truly never, had a relationship that endured past 6 months or a year, That is not a random, inexplicable streak. It is a powerful, undeniable sign that she is utterly untested in the most crucial, demanding parts of love, the parts that actually make it last. Because once you clearly see this recurring pattern, you'll realize it's not about her struggling to find the right guy who can meet her needs. It's about her deep-seated, perhaps unconscious avoidance of the discomfort, the effort, and the vulnerability required to truly stay with him, to build something enduring. And if that's her consistent history, it might just be your future, unless you make the courageous decision to walk away. When you step back and look at these 7 profound signs together, a remarkably clear and often unsettling picture begins to form. This entire discussion is not, and never has been, about judging someone's past for the sake of judgment. It is fundamentally about recognizing how consistent, deeply ingrained patterns of behavior, emotional responses, and relational choices profoundly shape a person's present and future capacity for connection. Every single one of these signs is not an isolated incident. It's a distinct thread in a much larger, intricate tapestry of her life, and that tapestry tells you with startling clarity whether a woman is truly capable of building and sustaining the kind of deep, authentic, and lasting connection that you, as a man seeking true partnership, are inherently looking for. Far too many men, caught in the intoxicating haze of initial attraction or the desperate hope that they will be the unique exception, tragically ignore these potent warnings. They convince themselves that their love, their unique connection, will somehow miraculously change her entrenched patterns. But here is a harsh, unyielding truth. Deep-seated patterns do not magically change simply because you care, or because you love her deeply. They change only when a person makes a conscious, often agonizing decision to directly confront them, to do the difficult internal work of reshaping their own foundational behaviors and beliefs. And that level of profound self-transformation, unfortunately, is exceptionally rare. You have now been shown, in no uncertain terms, how a fundamental lack of emotional barriers, the presence of permanent emotional walls, a consistent craving for constant male attention, the insidious use of weaponized intimacy, calculated emotional manipulation, a blatant disregard for discretion and privacy, and a recurring history of fleeting, short-term relationships are not random, disconnected traits. They are the clear, undeniable footprints of her past experiences. And those footprints, my friend, lead somewhere very specific, very predictable. If you are paying meticulous attention, you will see precisely where they go. And crucially, you can then make a fully informed, self-respecting decision about whether that is a road you are truly willing to walk. Drop your thoughts, your experiences, and any signs you've recognized in the comments section below. Your story, your unique perspective might be the exact warning another man desperately needs to hear right now. A lifeline to help him avoid a similar trap. And if you are committed to continuing to sharpen your instincts, to protecting your precious energy, and to safeguarding your future, then subscribe to this channel right now. Don't miss the vital conversations and insights that will keep you 2 steps ahead in the complex, often challenging landscape of modern relationships. Your standards, your boundaries, your inherent worth, these are not negotiable. Protect them like your entire future. Your peace of mind and your capacity for genuine love depend on it, because they absolutely do.